Good evening and welcome to the City of Isani City Council meeting for Tuesday, August 17th. I'd like to call this meeting to order if we could all rise for Pledge Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Doing roll call, all council members are present at this time. Do we have any public comment? No public comment, then we'll move on to adopting the agenda. No modifications, correct, Ms. Wood?
Make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Motion to adopt the agenda by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Proclamations, commendations, or certified awards. I do have a proclamation to make. It is International Overdose Awareness Day. This kind of touches base at home for a lot of us Isani residents. We did have one of our very own that ended up overdosing on prescription drugs. She was an ambassador for the city of Isani. She's actually the sister to one of our, I'm going to get this one confused. Where's Luke? EDA. The sister to Luke Merrill, which is part of our EDA. Very important to me that, not only to me, but her mother, Denise, that we did this proclamation for August 31st, 2021, and it reads as follows. Whereas International Overdose Awareness Day is recognized globally on August 31st to raise awareness about the risks of overdosing, honor the individuals whose lives have been lost from overdosing, and acknowledge the grief felt by families, friends, and their communities. And whereas Overdose Awareness Day aims to the public challenge the stigma associated with the substance use disorders and overdosing. And whereas per the Minnesota Department of Health in 2019, 762 Minnesotans died from drug overdose, and of those 428 were opiate-involved deaths. And whereas every human deserves our best efforts to prevent injury and death from overdose. And it is imperative to support overdose prevention policies and projects to help the wider community understand that drug overdose is a social issue, which impacts the victims, families, friends, and communities. Now therefore, I, Jeff Johnson, Mayor of the City of Isani, do hereby proclaim August 31st, 2021 as Overdose Awareness Day in the City of Isani. And I call this observation to the attention of all of our citizens. We'll move on to the accommodations. F2, swearing in of new police officers. Chief, if you wouldn't mind standing forward. And first, we'll take Officer Jordan Lund. We have 4 fantastic officers that have been hired by the City of Isani. Thanks to myself and the council for shifting gears in our recruitment process. The chief was able to find these 4 fantastic officers. And I, for one, am blessed that you guys are part of this family and team. I could go on for hours, and I don't think we have that much time, so let's just hand it over to the chief.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm just honored to be here on behalf of the Police Department to bring 4 of our newer officers. We're bringing 4 at one time because of the COVID time frame. We weren't able to do some of this in as timely fashion as we could have. As Mayor mentioned, about 2 years ago, I came to the council with concerns on recruitment. The number one concern that all of law enforcement has right now, or one of the number one concerns, is recruitment of new officers. We're going to swear in 4 officers today that are indicative of what we have in our department, and they're some of the best officers I've had the privilege to work with in the last 23 years of my career. And I'm not saying that just because they work for me. That's from the heart. They honestly are some of the best officers we have. And because of changing our recruitment strategies, we were able to hire some highly qualified officers. First off, we have Jordan Lund, who was hired in September of 2020. He's a second generation officer, 2 brothers, and father also police officers. Alexandria Technical College, where he got an associate's degree in law enforcement. He was a 10-year police officer from the city of Brooklyn Center. In that capacity, he was a lead advisor for Youth Explorer program. He's a force instructor, field training officer, and a member of the Emergency Operations Unit. He's married with a wife and 5 wonderful children. And at the Isanti Police Department, he's assigned as a use of force instructor with us. So we'll start with his oath of office. It's right there if you need help. You can raise your hand. Say, I, Jordan Lund, as a law enforcement officer, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota.
I, Jordan Lund, as a law enforcement officer, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Minnesota.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will enforce the laws of the United States, the state of Minnesota, and the city of Isanti impartially.
That I will enforce the laws of the United States, of the state of Minnesota, and of the city of Isanti impartially.
That I will work in partnership with the citizens of Isanti toward providing a safe environment and enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of our community.
That I will work in partnership with the citizens of the city of Isanti toward providing a safe environment and enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of our community.
That I will adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, responsiveness, sensitivity, respect, and openness.
That I will adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, responsiveness, sensitivity, respect, and openness.
That I will take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge my laws and duties as a city of Isanti police officer, so help me God.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge my lawful duties as a city of Isanti police officer, so help me God.
All right. And well, now what do we have for his badge? His wife. Going to pin on his badge. Sorry, wrong one. And you wonder why it takes us so long to get ready for work in the morning? Yeah. Ouch. All right, congratulations.
Next up, I'll call Officer Michael Glavon.
Officer Glavon was hired also in September of 2020. He graduated in 2010 from Minnesota State University in Moorhead, bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Started his career as a security counselor in Minnesota's sex offender program. He has 6 years police officer experience with the Minneapolis Police Department, where he's assigned working in the downtown. He's enlisted in the 148th Fighter Wing, Minnesota Air National Guard, Ordnance on fighter jets. And currently he's assigned as one of our firearms instructors with the city of Isanti. All right, raise your right hand. So I, Michael Glavon, as a law enforcement officer, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota.
I, Officer Michael Glavon, as a law enforcement officer, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Minnesota.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will enforce the laws of the United States, the state of Minnesota, and the city of Isanti impartially.
That I will enforce the laws of the United States, of the state of Minnesota, and the city of Isanti impartially.
That I will work in partnership with the citizens of the city of Isanti toward providing a safe environment and enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of our community.
that I will work in partnership with the citizens of the City of Isani towards providing a safe environment and enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of our community.
That I will adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, responsiveness, sensitivity, respect, and openness.
That I will adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, responsiveness, sensitivity, respect, and openness.
That I will take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge my laws and duties as a City of Isani police officer, so help me God.
That I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge my lawful duties as a City of Isani police officer, so help me God.
All right. Now it's a good time.
This is your chance to stab us.
All right, congratulations and thank you.
Officer Christopher Morgan.
Christopher Morgan was hired in February of 2020. He's a third-generation police officer. His grandfather and father worked for the City of St. Louis Park. He has an associate's degree at Hennepin County Community College, and while he's completing his education, worked as a 911 dispatcher for Wright County and Sherburne County Sheriff's Department. He has 16-plus years as a police officer with the City of Elk River. He was part of their honor team, armorer, and certified motorcycle officer. Since being hired in Isani, he's a school resource officer, an active ALICE instructor, shooter trainer, taser instructor, firearms instructor, and a peer support team member. Raise your right hand. I, Chris Morgan, as a law enforcement officer, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota.
I, Chris Morgan, as a law enforcement officer, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will enforce the laws of the United States, the state of Minnesota, and the city of Isani impartially.
That I will enforce the laws of the United States, the state of Minnesota, and the city of Isani impartially.
That I will work in partnership with the citizens of the city of Isani towards providing a safe environment, enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of our community.
That I will work in partnership with the citizens of the city of Isani towards providing a safe environment and enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of our community.
That I will adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, responsiveness, sensitivity, respect, and openness.
That I will adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, responsiveness, sensitivity, respect, and openness.
That I take this obligation freely without mental reservation for purposes of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge my laws and duties as a City of Isani police officer, so help me God.
I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and I will faithfully discharge my lawful duties as a City of Isani police officer, so help me God.
Feel free to stab him too, Miss Morgan.
It's been done, my dad did it too.
Don't make her laugh.
This is my first time.
Well, the shirt smells so darn thick.
Good job. All right, congratulations. Thank you.
Officer Tyler Lawson.
All right, Officer Lawson was hired in December of 2019. He has a Bachelor of Science in Criminal Justice from St. Cloud State University. He came from Becker Police Department, Mille Lacs County Sheriff's Office, and has a 7-year military career with the Army Reserve and was on one deployment. And he has a wife and 3 wonderful kids, and he wanted to make sure everybody knows that his favorite food is pizza, so. All right, go ahead and raise your right hand. I, Tyler Lawson, as an enforcement officer, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota.
I, Tyler Lawson, as a law enforcement officer, solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Minnesota,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
That I will enforce the laws of the United States, the state of Minnesota, and the city of Isani impartially.
that I will enforce the laws of the United States and the state of Minnesota and the city of Isani impartially,
That I will work in partnership with the citizens of Isani towards providing a safe environment, enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of the community.
that I will work in partnership with the citizens of the city of Isani toward providing a safe environment and enhancing the quality of life consistent with the values of our community,
That I will adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, responsiveness, sensitivity, respect, and openness.
that I will adhere to the ethical values of professionalism, integrity, responsiveness, sensitivity, respect, and openness,
That I take this obligation freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge my laws and duties as a city of Isani police officer, so help me God.
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully discharge my lawful duties as a city of Isani police officer, so help me God.
Okay. And now Lexi. Good job. All right, congratulations. What's that? Okay, we'll get there.
I want to make a note to tell your officers, if you're ever on Ironwood Avenue and you see me sitting out in front of my house, you're always welcome to stop by, soda pop, coffee, whatever, and you can tell which house is mine, and I have a back of blue flag hanging up in my yard.
And if you looked at, you heard just brief resumes for all 4 of those officers. They're all exceptional officers in their own right. Everyone's individual. But to have that quality of officers come in, and we have more that will be coming. We are fully staffed now, and every one of these officers is absolutely amazing. So our recruitment that we've done over the last 3 years, and especially changing with your approval for that recruitment, has got us here. We wouldn't have been able to recruit these officers without that. Is amazing, and I think it's something for all of us, and you as council members should be proud that that's what you have serving your community, because I'm proud that that's what I have serving the community as well. And with that being said, the next step that we need to start working on is going to be how do we retain this amazing team that we have. So we'll be bringing some ideas up there in the future.
I think it says something to you as a chief too, that we have these quality officers here, so congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
So.
They'd be lucky to work with you as well, so.
Thank you.
I do got to jump in and say that I've gotten to know each and every one of these officers fairly decent. I meet with the chief at least twice a month, probably more. Sometimes he gets sick of hearing from me, I'm sure. You noticed I paused. As you're grinning ear to ear. Thanks, Chief.
Yeah.
However, he does say every time I talk to him or I ask questions that he has got the best team in the state of Minnesota. It's great for me to hear that, to pass along to these gentlemen, that our chief feels that way. And he's been in 20 plus years in law enforcement. He's worked with many officers. So for him to say that he has the best group, not only because obviously he's the boss, but he wholeheartedly means it, it means the world to me. And I would put the Isani Police Department up against any department in this city any day of the week. Absolutely. I think we got a phenomenal crew. I, for one, and I know this council supports each and every one of them. Just keep up the good work, and congratulations to you for having a remarkable team, Chief.
Absolutely, thank you.
And I think the Chief deserves a round of applause. If we could have each officer sworn in step up and take their photo up here as well with the chief. That would be highly appreciated. And the lieutenant, I'm sorry. Lieutenant McCarty is here as well. We'll move out of the way. You guys do what you gotta do. You're gonna actually come around. You're going up top here. This will be the only time you went up here. Here we are. You want them individual, chief? Or? No, all of your. Where's the LT? Oh, he's coming.
He's BSing.
If I need to move any chairs, I'll do it. You want to come in front of the flag, gentlemen?
Spouses take individual photos if they
Like at an angle?
Hey, chief, if they want their spouses up here taking pictures, they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Any of the spouses want to come up and take photos? Actually, I want you in the photo too. She's not hearing me. You can come up too. Any of the spouses that want photos, feel free to step up here and we'll take those for you quickly. You can step up. Just come around. Yes, sir. Sorry. Christina? You want your wife in there? Or just, you want this photo here?
No, you asked for a phone. I give you a phone.
Roll it up. I know who you are. I met you, Chad. We met at the parade, buddy.
Angie and I could beat you. Like if they combine their facial. Yeah. He said we could beat you in that. I'm telling you, he just goes peach fuzz. He tells me they have it. And my son Andrew, he said, you'll never beat him.
I'll shake it.
And I won't, he goes, I won't either. Otherwise, he doesn't care.
Good to meet you again, young man.
Well, thank you. Let's see. Yeah, right.
Give me that shirt?
Yep.
We'll give the families time to exit out. And that baby's adorable. I think that's Lawson's baby. I think. All right, we're going to move on here to the approval of the city council minutes from August 4th, which was a regular meeting of city council, and June 1st, which is an economic development authority meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Collison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Announcements. Park Recreation and Culture Board meeting will be Tuesday, August 24th at 6 p.m. City offices are closed Monday, September 6th in observation of Labor Day. A city council meeting will be Tuesday, September 7th at 7 p.m. And an economic development authority meeting will also be Tuesday, September 7th, following that council meeting. Any council committee reports? None at this time. We don't even have any business items, gentlemen, so do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent
Second.
agenda.
Motion to approve.
Don't
What'd you say, Councilman Collison?
Don't we have closed sessions?
Yes.
Doesn't mean-
Oh, yes, after.
After.
So a motion to approve by Councilman Lundin and a second by Councilman Burgley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Now we will move on to our closed sessions. A closed session for discussion of appraisal of real estate property, PID 16.053.
Mayor,
Oh.
we should have, we would actually need a motion to strike N1.
Motion to strike N1.
We should
Motion
have
to
asked-
strike N1.
Second.
Motion to strike N1 by Councilman Burgley and a second by Councilman Lundin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Now, we'll move on to N2, which is a closed session for discussing to purchase real estate property PID 16.090.0102, 901 East Dual Boulevard, Northeast in Isani, Minnesota, persistent to Minnesota Statute Section 13D.05, Subdivision 3C. So at this time, I'm going to have to ask all of the audience to exit,
Ms. Wood, can we do both closed sessions
and
at
we'll
once?
call you back in when we're through.